a war's finished because one side can't carry on. But at the end of the day, there are no winners. That's what I found. What I did in the war? Well, it started in October 1941 when I got called up and I volunteered for the RAF. I wanted to be a pilot, as most people did, but we were interviewed before on this matter, and it ended up with me being an observer, which was the old flying, it's a different name then, of course, but it's Navigator now. And that's how it started. I was told that I was going to Canada to do my flying training, but I went off on leave, came back and found out that I was going to South Africa instead. So after that we had an exam, quite a serious exam too. It about 3 days of exams on all sorts of things, and we'd done navigation, we'd done stars, and we were doing air gunnery. We did a bit of air gunnery, a bit of bombing. We were a bit of jack of all trades at the time, and whilst we'd been trained for the Desert Air Force, we were never actually posted there. There were 16 of us, if I remember rightly, 16 or 20, and we were in Cairo for 3 months, which was very nice. I mean, it had bright lights and nightclubs and plenty of beer for the boys and that sort of thing. It was a jolly good time we had there. Eventually I got posted and I was put on a ferry flight, and we were just flying every other day, dropping supplies to the Chindits, who were the people that were on the ground behind Japanese lines. And we used to fly stuff in. We would land behind the Japanese lines, we'd bring out the wounded, we would do a lot of supply dropping, and that was it. I did a lot of flying, and I had a very interesting war. That's what it boiled down to. I mean, a lot of people joined up, a lot of people didn't come back. Whilst I was on the squadron, we lost 13 crews. Mainly due to weather, because there wasn't much opposition from the Japanese Air Force, but we got a lot of opposition from the monsoon, and by jingo, the weather there was tough, and that caused most of the deaths. The aircraft would disintegrate, broke up in air, or crashed, or got sucked down. The weather was a definite hazard there, and I wouldn't want to do that again. When I changed to the squadron in Delhi, we again were flying a Dakota aircraft, and we actually had a crash landing. I was with the squadron. We were flying about 30 bods from Karachi to Bombay, and things went wrong, and we crash landed in the Sindh desert. But the aircraft was a bit of a mess, and most amazing, we were miles from anywhere, and out of the blue a chap in a camel appeared. It's quite amazing. And it took us 8 hours on this camel, and believe me, 8 hours in a camel is something I never want to repeat. The saving grace on a Dakota was that the wheels didn't retract fully. There was about 12 inches of wheel left underneath, and with that we were able, at least the pilot was able to control the aircraft once we got down on the ground. And if it hadn't been for that, we would have ended up in a ravine, and I think we would probably we'd never come out alive, because we'd have gone down this ravine, crash landed, and the thing would have burst into flame, and that would have been it. But by having these wheels, the 12 inches of wheel available, he was able to use the brakes accordingly, and that saved our lives, there's no two doubts about it. Because we ended up on this ravine, and you could look down and think, I might have been there. Well, I mean, the one thing I learned about this war was that there are no winners. There are no winners. It's very emotional. Very emotional. I mean, the countries are financially bankrupt, thousands are killed, friends are killed. It's no witness.